Back in October 2019, I discovered indoor cycling and running. I was in terrible shape and to be honest, my fitness was useless. But it turned out I loved indoor training. 11 months on, I've dropped about 30 kilos and I'm feeling pretty strong and fast. But I need a new challenge. So, in a year, could I win something? Could I get first place in a proper real life sporting event? And Zwift doesn't count for this one. I don't know what discipline it will come in, but on this channel, I'll share the highs, the lows, and the broken bones as I attempt to sit on the top step of the podium for the very first time. But what's today's episode about?
So today's episode is about RGT racing. So if you've not seen RGT before, it's a bit like Zwift. It's intended to be a bit more of a sort of simulator, for want of a better description, than Zwift, which is a little bit more of a game. So it has some foibles for those reasons, like the draft is apparently more accurate, but certainly can go wrong quite quickly if you're not careful. So I've been competing in the mountain stage there as part of the WKG, so that's the team I'm in on Zwift. They've been organising a 21 stage sort of approximation of the Tour de France. I've been doing the mountain classification, so that's only some of the stages. Interestingly, I kind of thought that the different classifications, they've got like a flat classification, a mountain classification, and a general classification. I assumed more people would pick and choose, but it seems everyone, well, the vast majority of people are trying to do all of the stages, which makes it interesting actually. So the real sharp, pointy end of the mountain classification is dominated by the really strong GC riders, who are going really strong every day. So it does feel a little bit cheeky for me to sort of nip in, do my kind of hour and a half of climbing and get a reasonable-ish result, while they've been doing day after day of it. So we'll see on the Col d'Aubernet. It's taking people about an hour and 10. So we'll see how I get on that. That's kind of the people at the front of the field. But yeah, so there's a few more stages still to go. There's the big one on Sunday, which I'm not super sure because I'd really like to do the club run, because I've not really done, I've done one club run and then break my collarbone, so I'd like to go and do that. So doing that plus the big one's tricky. And then Alpe d'Huez, which is the final stage, is the day I'm doing the Leaf Hill climb. So maybe I should cut my losses and, you know, concentrate on other more structured training rather than the races. So yeah, we'll see how we get on with all of that. Might be doing some commentary later, I'm not entirely sure. Potentially Ed Laverak's in the sort of fourth runnings. They do over 4 time slots. So like a midnight, 6:30, 12:30, and then 6:30 in the evening. I'm probably going to do the lunchtime one. Yeah, so am I going to win that? No. It's kind of, like I say, there's, you know, obviously it doesn't count for what we're trying to do with the show here, because it's indoors, but even so, the top people in this kind of race are doing really, really well here, in great form, like semi-pros. So little old me doesn't really stand too much of a chance in there, but you never know. It could be a day where they're taking it easy, particularly if they think that they've got you know, chance to do so. And usually it's the 6:30 in the evening slot that's got the biggest contenders in, so there's a few fast people in there, from I can see who are pre-registered, but not the fastest of the kind of, you know, combined 300 people who are doing it. So yeah, we'll give that a go over lunchtime. I'll share some footage of me doing that, maybe, you know, see if I can talk whilst riding. I know people like Marcus Neal do that all the time. I'm not sure I can. I'm normally kind of like completely out of breath while riding, but we'll see, give it a go. You'll probably get the pleasure of seeing me in bib shorts as well. So this is the first time ever recording myself actually on the turbo. You'll probably be able to see right up my nose, and as I start to breathe into my mouth, I apologise in advance. So this is the RGT race. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to record anything from my stream, so I'm hopefully going to be able to steal a little bit from the ZMS stream that they're doing. Or maybe we'll be doing some commentary for them a little bit later. Ed Laverak is racing in the later race, so he'll probably win that one or be there or thereabouts. A bit smaller field in this one here. Henrik Hausen is the person to beat. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. It's about an hour and 10 is what Jonathan Crane, who's probably the time to beat at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how we get on
in timing. I reckon I'll probably come in about an hour and 20, unless something really good when we get going. And yeah, I'll share with you my experience as it happens. So today's stage is Le Col de Bonnet. So this is, I think, the 4th stage in the mountain classification and the 8th stage? No, that can't be right. I don't know what stage it is in the overall classification. I've not been riding all of them. There's 21 in total over 23 days. It's just been the rest day, so lots of the kind of people who've been riding all of the stages probably will be a bit more relaxed than they have been in previous stages, but this week's going to be a pretty crazy one for everyone. There's a mountain stage today, another one on Thursday, and then Sunday there's the biggest climbing stage of all of them, which I think even for the fastest people is probably going to be 2.5 hours. For some of the people who are kind of fit, but kind of obviously not kind of mountain goats, that could be taking them 4+ hours. So fair play to everyone who completes that. I'm still in two minds if I'm going to do the club run that day or whether I'm going to do that. We'll sort of see how I get on today, I think. The key things I'm going to kind of be trying to do here is just kind of keep a fairly even pace, really. Particularly with RGT, it's a bit different to Zwift in that the draft is really kind of quite different. It works in a completely different way. It shows you what you're benefiting from in the draft, which is kind of quite nice, and I have missed that once, having done a bit of RGT and go back to Zwift. I do miss seeing that number, but I don't miss the kind of complicatedness of like difficulty of actually getting in the draft and staying there. It feels like it's kind of more effort. You put more effort in even when you're saving, just because you've got to be constantly precisely on the right numbers. So it's very easy to half wheel. So we put a bit too much effort in and then have to pull it back. So we've got 3 minutes to go here. I've literally never recorded myself while riding before, so I'm a bit self-conscious about that. So normally I'm just in the bib, but to save you close up of my man nipples, I've got the gilet on at the moment. Although that might have to come off if we get a bit too sweaty. I also have all the fans on, so no idea if the sound's going to work. First time as well, I've also not managed to work out how to capture the actual race. I'm hoping to pinch a bit of coverage of that from elsewhere, so if there's anything particularly interesting going on, hopefully I'll be on the live coverage at the point at which that is happening. But probably it's been me breathing very heavily and swearing. And an hour and a half of kind of, reasonably decent effort. I'll be really pleased if I got in about 4.4 watts per kilo. I think that would be a good result. I did 45 minutes on the Alp on Sunday, and that was at 4.6. So this being a bit longer, I'll probably not quite maintain the same amount. But I'll let you know how I get on in comparison to that. So anything above 4.4 I think would have been a good result. Anything near a 4 or under would be, I've maybe cocked something up or paced it a bit wrong. But it's very easy to blow up on these long climbs. Try and take plenty of water on, well, electrolyte. I tend to almost go the other way. I'm desperate for a wee by the time I finish. Okay, so I've got a minute and 45. I'm going to turn the fans on now. That might ruin the sound. Let's see how good the GoPro sound voice cancelling is. Spencer, who's one of the guys I do the commentary with, I think he's in this race. Last time we had a really interesting battle whereby I was sort of stranded between him and a couple of others for most of the mountain stage, just about held on. In hindsight, probably should have eased up, gone into their group and tried to sort of maintain and save a little bit of energy, but naively I didn't. Hard to know how well to warm up on these kind of things. I'm trying to squeeze it in the lunch hour, so obviously you've not got a lot of time to spare there anyway, so it's going to be longer than the hour, but like squeezing in that kind of midday break. And then don't want to go too hard to be worn out and out of breath, but I know that if you're going reasonably cold, you're not fully kind of in the zone.
draft. The thing I need to remember on RGT, there's so many strong riders that I can't just sit on the front and take the win. Morgan and Rickhouse have already gone. I'll wait on up to the GC to try and catch them. So I think Morgan out front, former Olympic rower, so little old me, not quite got the same sporting pedigree. So the three fast guys are out, I'm in fourth. I don't want to burn a match getting on, but if I don't, I'm not getting it back. Got back on. No, and they've got again. Bloody draft.
The guys at the pointy end of this race are just so crazily quick and fit. It is really impressive. At this stage, I took the gilet off. I've cropped in quite close here because, my God, it was not a flattering angle of me and my stomach there. Lesson learned that maybe from below with bib shorts on is not a good idea.
Coming up to the hour, still in sick. Got about 83 minutes on Will Spencer. Probably about 10-15 minutes left. We've got war pigs on, so we're going to give it some. Looks like Spencer's dropped out. He's about, I don't know, 75, 80, 90 minutes behind. Gone down to 0 watts per kilo. I'm not going anywhere. I feel for him. Could have caught me, I reckon, as well. Shit.
Once Will Spencer dropped out with technical issues, yeah, I was thrown in a bit of a no man's land. I was never going to get up to 5th place. He was, kilometres down the road behind me, and then behind me, Kimber, Lister, and that crew were kind of comfortably fairly distanced as well. So it was just a case of trying to keep going as hard as possible. To be honest, I think once the chase disappeared, I did tend to sort of get a little bit slack in terms of the watts that I was putting out.
75, 50, just under 500 watts in there, not for very long there. An hour and 12 and 19 seconds, 6th on the stage. Feel for Wes, well even, can't even speak, Will Spencer. Let me get my breath back and we'll look at the stats.
So that's the key stats that you get at the end of an RGT ride. Annoyingly, it never gives you watts per kilo, which winds me up a bit. 111 on the TSS and 277 on the average power, which isn't too bad. So yeah, it was 6th overall. Which, it's not too bad. I feel it's about right. Annoyingly, not for me so much, but there are plenty of people behind me who had technical difficulties. I think, probably if the race had run to its conclusion, maybe a couple of people who might have caught me. I think I probably could have stayed away, but a couple of people who were certainly pushing me hard, they lost their connection or had technical issues, which is never what you want. So I think 6 ended up being quite comfortable in the end, but it could have been a lot harder work. Sweaty after. Look, I put the gilet on to sort of save you the hairy chest stuff. But yeah, always interesting to have a go at the mountain stages like that. Fair play to the people who've been doing all the stages. They've had one day off in, I think this is like the 10th day, and they've had one day off in that period of time. I had a few mechanicals myself, so a couple in Greece where
that was like user error as much as anything really, like a bad gear shift. So yeah, I think I could have got a lot quicker. A little bit disappointed on the time, but you never really know how you're going to get on with those bits. But yeah, position looks all right. We'll see how we get on with the fast group this evening, because they're the ones who kind of really put the you can kind of see all the stages get amalgamated together, and you get like a combined time and then a position off the back of that, and then the points are allocated off that. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, I think I'm probably maybe, I don't know, top 10 or something off the first 3 races, and it'll probably go down to about 25 by the time that final group finishes. But it is what it is, and yeah, it was a good workout. So a couple of hours on, couple of hours now till the fast group go off with Jan Dekker and Ed Laverack. They're going to put like a crazy amount of time into me. I'd imagine they probably go well under an hour, because they can put out 6 watts a kilo the whole way along. Be interested to see how that kind of pans out, because it's one that could lend itself quite well to the sort of like consistent power that Dekker has, but Laverack's just a machine, so I'm looking forward to see how he gets on. And yeah, it's just another day in the RGT WKG Viva la France mountain classification completed. There's still a few more to go. I've got to decide if I'm going to try and compete right to the end. I don't think I'm going to be like troubling the top places, but they are good workouts. It's a good hour of sort of like solid intense hill climbing. But I've got to weigh up I've got the UK hill climbs, which you would think like climbing hills on the train, it would be good for training for hill climbs, but they work slightly differently in as much as so that one was an hour of solid climbing, and you just got to get as near your threshold or as above your threshold and kind of hold that as much as you can for the duration, whereas the UK hill climb time trials are much shorter. So like the nearest one to me, the one that I'd like to do the best in, is about sort of a 5-minute time would be amazing on that, on the Stirling Bostel. I'm not going to be getting that, but that's sort of like the type of thing that you're looking at. So a 5-minute effort versus an hour effort is completely different. So I'm going to have a go at some slightly different workouts. In fact, I think tomorrow I'm going to record it, hopefully with a better angle so you don't get my kind of stomach in view the whole way through. I think I'm going to wear jerseys from now on, of what's Ed Laverack's training pyramid. So that's a crazy one. If I get through one of the pyramids, I'll be really impressed, and the plan is to do 2. It's a 90-minute workout and 150 TSS, so that is like effectively the same as running at your FTP for an hour and a half. And today I did 277 in an hour and 10, so 277 watts averaged for an hour and 12 minutes, whatever it was, and my FTP is 293, so like it's comfortably a level above this, and obviously it's in peaks as well, so you get a little there's periods of recovery in it. But anyway, we'll go into that tomorrow. We'll see if we get through it. It's gonna be an interesting one. Character building, I think would be fair to say. And yeah, episode 2 in the bag.